Hello girlies, gays, and theys, and today is June 1st, which means a happy Pride Month to everyone and to all who celebrate. So today, in honor of Pride Month, I decided that I was just going to sit down, I was going to finally do it, and I was going to make a video that I've been putting off for quite a while now, but always wanted to make, and that is my current top 10 BL series. Now, there are a lot of different BLs that I love, short volume series, short series, manhwa, manga, but today we're going to focus on long-running series. Now, for me, I categorize long-running as more than 6 volumes. So I know for a lot of you that might be into manga, you might think that 6 volumes really isn't a lot, and I would agree, especially in terms of maybe shoujo and shonen series. However, I feel like BL typically has a format where a lot of them start out as a 1-volume series, and then if we're lucky, we get a second or a third one. So we don't often get very long-running BL series. I know manhwa's a little different. I'm not as well versed in manhwa as I am with manga, so I can't really speak on what is considered a long-running or short-running manhwa series. I know they do like seasons, so I don't know how many seasons would categorize a long manhwa. But anyway, for the purpose of this video, and for the purpose of eventually having other videos such as one novel faves, short series faves, for today I'm categorizing long series as anything over 6 volumes, and I have had to have read at least 6 volumes of this series. Now I do want to keep it not just top 10 manga, but I do want to get BL from China, Korea also on this list, so I am going to be a little lenient with 1 or 2 of the options on this list. Some may argue that when put into a physical format, it wouldn't end up being a 6-volume series, but when we get to those series, we'll get into them. And again, please remember, these are my current top 10s. If you see a series on here that you really don't like, that's totally fine. We all have different faves, different things that we love. Just please don't leave any mean comments down below. And now to start off, let's go with number 10. Now for number 10, I picked Keita Hatsukoi, also popularly known as its English title, My Love Mix-Up. Now My Love Mix-Up is very dear to me. It is one of the first BLs I remember collecting, like really getting into, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. It really was hard picking what series to put in number 10. Like there were a few others that I really could have picked that I could argue maybe I currently in 2025 like more, but My Love Mix-Up will always be special to me. Now again, I want to avoid spoiler territory. I know this is a very popular drama. Today I'm only talking about the manga. I have not watched the drama, so I won't get into any spoiler territories with the series that are on this list. But just to quickly summarize what is My Love Mix-Up, we have our main character Aoki, and he has a crush on his classmate Hashimoto. And one day he borrows an eraser from Hashimoto, and he notices that on this eraser she has written the name Ida. Now Ida is the handsome boy that sits in front of him in class, and so he immediately comes to the realization that the girl he has a crush on the popular guy sitting in front of him. And in his dismay, he drops his eraser, or Hashimoto's eraser, and Ida picks it up for him and realizes that his name is on this eraser. And so he asks him, like, why do you have my name on your eraser? And Aoki, because he is best boy, I adore Aoki, he is the best character in the series, doesn't want to throw his crush under the bus. So he lies and he says it is his eraser and that he has a crush on him because he doesn't want to out the girl that he has a crush on. And the rest of the series just follows suit, so to say. Again, I don't want to spoil what happens, but I would like to touch on some of the reasons why I do adore this series. Number one, which is one of the main reasons I haven't watched the drama, is that to this day, I've read a lot of BL. And this is still easily one of the top 5 funniest BLs I have ever read. The physical comedy, the humor is so good and natural. And of course, if you are familiar with Wataru Hinekure, they did the story for, what's it called? Ore Monogatari, which is renowned as one of the funniest and cutest shoujo mangas I've ever seen or watched. I've only watched the anime. I haven't watched the Ore or read the Ore Monogatari manga, but the anime is fantastic. So I already knew that the comedy was going to be top notch, and it is. It's funny all the way through. You're going to laugh every volume. And then another reason why I like it is because I feel like the development of the main pairing develops very naturally. Again, I don't want to spoil, but let me just say they don't drag things on too long, if you kind of catch where I'm going with this. They don't let things get to the point where you're like, oh my god, we get it. Just go on. It develops at a very natural pace. And the relationship between Aoki and Ida is so cute. I love them so much. Ida honestly becomes such a good boy. Like, I feel like he kind of starts as like the stereotypical like stoic, quiet character, but again, not to spoil, but he gets so charming, and Aoki's just perfect the entire way through. I adore him. So if you are looking for a great comedy, a great sweet series to kind of start, like maybe you watched Sasaki Miyano and you're like, oh my gosh, this is such an awesome anime, I want to read more series like Sasaki Miyano, then My Love Mix-Up is the perfect next manga for you. It's sweet, it's hilarious, again, it's perfectly paced, and I actually like the side ship a lot. Like, you're gonna find out as we go on, I don't always like the second pair in BL series, but the My Love Mix-Up one, again, not to spoil, in my opinion is really good. I like them together a lot. But please, 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 please read My Love Mix-Up. This is one of the animes one of the mangas I desperately wish would get an anime, because I'm sure the drama's fantastic. I know it's super popular, and it seems like the actors do an amazing job. They did a great job casting. I just feel like so much of the comedy is very like manga anime style of comedy that I'm not really sure how it would translate in a real world like setting. Like, the facial expressions Aoki makes are so good that I'm genuinely not sure how they would translate into like real world actors like acting out these scenes. So I really think it is something special to read as a manga. I recommend it. Again, number 10, My Love Mix-Up. Such a wonderful series. And now on to number 9. I picked Therapy Game. Now, if you are a BL connoisseur, if you're someone that's read a lot of BL, you've probably definitely heard of Therapy Game at some point. Again, this isn't necessarily a list of like obscure BLs. You're probably gonna see a lot of very popular series on this list. I can try and in the future make a list of what I think are like underrated BLs, but I am trying to just talk about BLs that I know that if you're watching at home and you maybe haven't read a lot of different ones, or you've only watched like 1 or 2 animes, these are BLs you could go to your local bookstore today or tomorrow and you could pick it up physically for yourself. So I know loving Therapy Game is not an unpopular opinion, but it's, in my opinion, it's popular for a reason. And now when I say the Therapy Game is my number 9 favorite BL series, honestly, it's one of my top 10 favorite manga series of all time. I'm talking about Therapy Game, Restart, and Secret XXX. Now, Secret XXX, I actually read first before I read Therapy Game and Therapy Game Restart, and I highly, please recommend either starting with Secret XXX or after you have read Therapy Game and Therapy Game Restart, please go back and read Secret XXX. I love those characters so much. They're so cute. It's definitely, that's one of my biggest gripes with Therapy Game, is that I wish that we got Itsuki and Shohei more often in Therapy Game. Not to spoil, but again, this is actually one of the series where I really like the side ship a lot. And it just hurts because I read their story first, and now we're following what was their side pairing as the main pairing. But back to Therapy Game. Therapy Game follows Minato and Shizuma, and kind of this, again, I'm trying not to spoil, but there's this miscommunication that happens, where Shizuma thinks that he has a one-night stand with Minato, and just kind of the fallout of this one-night stand and them getting to know each other. And I know that's maybe the most basic summary of the first 2 volumes, just Therapy Game, that one could give, but I really think it's one that is best to go in blind. There's a lot of things that you learn about Minato that I think are better not to spoil. And then Therapy Game Restart, again, I guess, to kind of spoil, is their relationship post what happens in Therapy Game. And honestly, Therapy Game Restart is the best. Like, you kind of have to read Therapy Game so that you can enjoy Therapy Game Restart. And Therapy Game Restart is so good. One of the things that I love about Therapy Game is that Minato is just an unapologetically gay man. So often in BL, we get characters where it's like, oh, well, I'm not gay, but I'll make an exception for you. And I admit that there are going to be BLs further down this list where that is going to be the case. Unfortunately, it's just a trend that happens in BL a lot. But Minato is a gay character. He is often in very queer settings. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's just so refreshing to get a gay character in BL, as sad as that sounds. And again, another positive, the art is phenomenal. I own the art book, and this is easily one of my top 5 just favorite art styles, honestly, in manga. I think the artist does a phenomenal job. It's so stunning. The spicy scenes are so good. Top tier spice. And then Shizuma is such a good boy. What a green flag top. Oh my gosh. And Itsuki too. I love Itsuki. And Minato is just the perfect amount of like whiny and bratty, but still lovable. So I think if you're looking for a manga that's got gorgeous art, gorgeous spice, and just enough drama here and there with fluff mixed in to keep you interested, it's a phenomenal series. It's popular for a reason. It's currently licensed in English. If you live in an English-speaking country, you can go out and you can find it in your local bookstore. But it's one of those, it's like, it's it's a common thing to put Therapy Game and Therapy Game Restart in your top 10 BLs, but like I said, it's popular for a reason. I can maybe do a deeper dive in the future if you want me to, but again, I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible. Go read Therapy Game. If you haven't already, what are you doing? And then Number 8. I have picked which is what I consider my problematic fave. I know there's a lot of fandom policing going on just kind of right now in fandom spheres, Twitter, TikTok. Heaven forbid you like anything with a toxic top or that's not perfectly wholesome. It gets a lot of bad rap, but I, as a full-grown adult, think everyone at least deserves to have a problematic fave, whether you want it to be Jinx, something else. I think we all deserve to have a problematic fave, a red flag BL that is our guilty pleasure we adore. And my personal, often considered red flagged BL fave is none other than Dakaretai Otoko, also known as I'm being harassed by the sexiest man of the year. And just the title alone, you're like, okay, I kind of see where this is going. Again, this is one where, or actually this is the first one on the list that has an anime adaptation, so maybe you've either seen the posters for the anime or maybe you've watched the anime, but I have watched and read the manga, and personally, while I think the anime is definitely more palatable, I prefer the manga, and I'll get into it in a bit. But to summarize, honestly, I'll probably just read the summary here on AniList. For the past 5 years, veteran actor Takoto Saijo was always hailed as the sexiest man of the year, reigning the polls as the man everyone wants to sleep with, and no one has ever come close to taking his top spot. Until now, when it falls into the hands of rookie actor Junta Azumaya. Takoto's always been proud of his ability to keep his true, dark emotions under wraps, but when a drink gone wrong unearths his actual thoughts to Junta of all people, is there something he can do to let Junta keep his slip-up under wraps? So, to do an abridged summary of that, it's a BL that focuses on 2 actors that start to work on I believe it's a movie? Was it a movie or a drama? I think it's a medical movie. Wow, now I don't remember. They're co-stars on a medical series, and we eventually learned that they had worked together on a movie prior to this, so this is their second time meeting. And Takoto is a child actor that has been very popular since he was in high school, and he's always been one of the top stars, always ranked number 1, and now his co-star is ranked number 1, and he is livid, but he can't show others that he's livid because he has to keep on this air as the perfect actor. But he gets drunk at a staff outing with the Junta, and then things just escalate from there. You learn that Junta's actually obsessed with him, like in love with him. And the reason that this series gets such a bad rap is episode 1 for the anime, and in my opinion, basically the entire first volume of the manga, because again, for YouTube reasons, I can't say the word, but if you can kind of guess what I mean when I say obsessed top, you can kind of infer what probably happens in the first volume of the series. And it's sad because the first volume is, in my opinion, kind of hard to get through, but what develops is such a genuine, like, good relationship. Like, I actually love these two together so much because I do think they bring out the best in each other. And what really solidified this series for me was when I was watching the anime. Like, at first I was watching, and because it was during a time when I was trying to watch, like, as many BL animes as I could to be more informed, more aware of all the different BLs that there are. And so I started this one really just to be like, let's check another one off the list. And when I started watching, and again, I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but I adore like actor or idol series. And so the fact that it was an actor BL had me interested from the beginning. But at first I was kind of like, okay, like obsessed top, kind of tsundere bottom. Like, I get it. But episode 7, when you go back and you learn about their first shoot from Junta's point of view, I don't know why that episode had me hooked, but I was like, oh my god. And I actually had to go back and like rewatch like the first couple episodes. I'm making it seem like this is like a complete like plot change. Like, it's really not. But you kind of, when you understand a little more how Junta is the way he is, it makes more sense. Again, he is just an obsessed puppy dog top at the end of the day. But I don't know. I love Junta. I'm so sorry. I have such a soft spot for Jess, and you're gonna see. This is my favorite trope, is when the top is just unapologetically obsessed with the bottom. That's the only one he's interested in. That's the only person for him. Obsessed to an honestly maybe unhealthy degree at some points. That's my shit. That's when I eat up every time I reheat the same nachos, and it's delicious every time. And then Takuto is just so cute and funny. And this is one where I would say, if you're interested in a good actor BL with adult characters, I would recommend the anime to the majority of people, just because I do think the anime makes Junta more palatable for people not familiar with kind of, Junta's not even that red flag of a top to me. Someone who's read a lot of different series, and honestly, probably compared to a lot of the current manhwa tops, in my opinion, Junta's not really that bad. It's just they had a rocky start. And then it's so good because Junta realizes that his love for Takuto is unhealthy and he can't help it, and he tries so hard to be a better person for Takuto, but this is really just freak matching freak. Like, I'm sorry, Takuto's into it as much as he tries to deny it. This is freak for freak BL, freak for freak behavior, and it's so good. And I know that movie animated the Spain arc. My favorite arc is the play arc right after the Spain arc. It's so good. I don't know if they'll go as far as to make a whole anime for it, but I at least hope we get an anime for the play arc. It's so good. The spice had my jaw on the floor. Ugh. This is my personal guilty pleasure. I love Dakaratai Otoko. So if you're someone you don't mind a little bit of a red flag here or there, you can look past some dubious consent scenes at the beginning. It's a good one. I'm sorry. The spice is top tier. This is like I said, my red flag fave. I love these boys. I am a Junta apologist. What can I say? But so on to number 7, back into a lot more of the fluffy green flag variety. We have Surge Into You, my manhwa pick for my top 10, and honestly currently my favorite manhwa series that I've read. I know there's a lot of phenomenal manhwa series out there that I haven't read. There's so much. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to find the time to try and educate myself and read all the good manhwas that are out there. But currently, Surge Into You is my favorite, and surprisingly enough, the only Omegaverse on this list. I am a Omegaverse defender. I like Omegaverse, sorry, what can I say? I was there when the scripture was written. I have been around in fandoms for a long, long time. I remember when Omegaverse was not in mainstream the way it is now. The fact that we have Omegaverse manga and manhwa that you can just go and buy is wild to someone that was on Tumblr in 2010. But anyway, Surge Into You is so good. It's a manhwa about a Omega ice skater and an alpha swimmer. And they meet one day, and the Omega, his name is Yirim, and Yirim is an Omega who doesn't release a scent. If you're not familiar with Omegaverse, this is gonna sound so weird, but he doesn't have a scent, so to say. And Chungho, who is the alpha, has, again, without giving too much away, he has genuine, like, PTSD with Omega pheromones, and he can't be around Omegas. And so, but in this world, every Omegaverse is different. In this world, it's one of those, oh, but alphas really do perform better just in their daily lives if they have an Omega, if they have a mate. But of course, Chungho can't be around Omegas, and so even though he dreams of being an Olympic swimmer, he's kind of holding himself back in a way. And so he meets Yirim, who has his own trauma that I can't get into without spoiling. But when he realizes kind of what's going on, an alpha that's sensitive to Omega pheromones, an Omega that doesn't release a scent, and he realizes the match that they can make, he, he initiates this friends with benefits relationship to Chungho, and I'm sure just hearing the words Omegaverse, friends with benefits, you're like, oh, I kind of see where this is going to go. And it does, but again, I feel like for me, who doesn't really like a lot of angst, spoiler alert, I don't really like very angsty, very dramatic series. I don't like cheating, I don't like a lot of fighting. I like my angst to be as minimum as possible, and I feel like Surge Looking for You, Surge Towards You, the Korean title is Noru Chanen Pado. So, Surge, I feel like it's widely known as Surge Looking For You. I think we're getting a physical release soon. I'm gonna need to look into this, and then see what they make the official English title. But Surge Looking For You is so good. I do need to, sorry to spoil, but I do need to give an mpreg warning to anyone that really, really does not like, cannot do mpreg. There is mpreg. It is a major plot point. I personally don't mind mpreg. And I am a sucker for BLs with babies, and this is one of the best babies in all of BL. So again, Surge Looking For You is my personal favorite manhwa. It is the right amount to me of angst, fluff, character development on both sides. Sometimes I've read this series, I think 2 or 3 times, and every time I read the beginning, I forget how much development both characters have. Like, it truly feels like a 180. It's so good. And this is the one where I think people are going to argue this is not a long-running series. But if you include all of the side stories, again, I think there's only 2 official seasons, but there's so many side chapters that I feel like they're going to have to print. Because it's so good, it's so important. Those are the best chapters, are the side chapters with them. Again, spoiler, but as a family. That to me, it's long. It's 80 chapters, I think, around. They're all long chapters. It's a long series, but it's so good. If you don't mind Omegaverse, don't like, or don't mind Mpreg, and Love is an Illusion really wasn't your cup of tea. Love is Illusion is not one of my favorite BLs either, but that's a story for a different day. If you are looking for a good Omegaverse, this is one of my favorites. It's so good. And then, on to number 6 is Koisuru Otome no Tsukuri Kata, or I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend into a Girl. And I think reading the title, you think it's going to be something cheesy, or maybe on like the cheesy kind of corny spicy side, but this is such a wholesome and such a good coming of age story. I am a sucker for childhood friends to lovers. That's personally one of my favorite tropes. And before I even start talking about this series, especially with a title like I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend into a Girl, I just need to start by saying that I am going to use he, him pronouns with Mihate. I know there's a lot of people, especially people that identify as trans, non-binary, that resonate with Mihate and believe that Mihate is a trans woman, and get upset if you use he pronouns with Mihate, or if you don't use they, them pronouns. I own the first 7, and I've read, I think, through volume 8 online, like through, Pickfeed? And as where we are in the manga, in a canon, Mihate uses he, him pronouns for himself, where I currently am in the manga and where I believe we are with where the chapters are being released. Mihate identifies as a boy, as a man, so I'm going to use he, him pronouns. Again, I am not trying to take away anyone's trans experience, how they relate with this character. I am just using the pronouns that the character uses in series. Again, if later down the line, if Mihate comes to a realization that maybe he is trans or is non-binary or gender fluid, I will absolutely come back and make an edit to this video. Just where we are right now, Mihate identifies as a man, uses he pronouns, so that is what I'm going to use with this character. I feel like this is important for me to mention. I'm sorry, it was kind of a long tangent. I know this character means a lot to a lot of trans people that read the series, but because of the canon of the series, I am going to use he, him pronouns. Please, please, please don't come for me. But so after that tangent, what is I Think I Turned My Childhood Friend into a Girl about? So we have our main character, Mido, and Mido is, a tall, kind of, he's not buff, but, just a big high school boy, one of those started off kind of small and meek, grows up into this big man of a high schooler, but he adores fashion and makeup. Again, where we are in the series, I don't think he personally identifies as a gay man, but he acknowledges that the hobbies that he has, the passion that he has for makeup, for skincare, for fashion, both male and female, aren't something that a normal, I think, are they 16, 15? But a normal high school boy doesn't have, and so he keeps it a secret. However, one day he does do Mihate's makeup. Mihate is his childhood best friend, and I believe they're neighbors, from what I remember. And after doing Mihate's makeup for him, he realizes, oh my gosh, Mihate looks really good with more traditional feminine makeup, and Mihate realizes this too, and it kind of becomes a way for Mido to share his passion, his hobby with Mihate, and Mihate lets him continue to put makeup on him, continue to do his hair for him, and then one day Mihate just decides to start wearing the girl uniform and dressing in a more traditionally feminine way. as a way to connect with Mito about his passion, his hobby, because you learn very quickly that Mihate has been in love with Mito since, I think they were kids, since forever. And he's always, kept these feelings to himself, but now the Mito is going to him with his passion, with his secret. Mihate indulges him, lets him continue to put makeup on him, and as the series progresses, he becomes a lot more confident as a person from wearing makeup and wearing feminine clothing, because he does have a shorter, smaller body type, and with his facial structure, he used to have very low self-esteem, but from dressing up as a woman, he gains a lot more confidence in himself. His entire, not like 180, but again, having this confidence with his outer self makes him a lot happier. He's making friends at school a lot easier, and him and Mito's relationship starts to change. So that's why this is a series that I feel like a lot of people that struggle with their own sexual or gender identity identify with, because there is kind of this confidence from dressing a way that doesn't traditionally align with your pronouns. And the series is just so good. Like, my favorite part of the series, the side characters are really sweet, but my favorite part is just watching Mito and Mihate's relationship develop. I feel like, again, the timing is very good, and with them being childhood friends, they learn new things about each other, but they don't have to, go through the awkward first steps that maybe like a strangers to lovers would have. And it's just so sweet. Mihate is such a good character. Mito is such a green flag. Like, I love these two so much. I'm trying not to spoil too much, again, in all of my reviews, but if you want just a good, wholesome BL, which again, I feel like it's almost controversial calling this a BL, because a lot of people consider it more a queer manga, but I feel like it is categorized as a BL, like in terms of like stores, it's magazines, so it's really such a cute series. I feel like the title doesn't do it service. It really is just such a cute and wholesome series about two friends falling in love and really connecting with each other, their passion, gaining confidence in oneself. So please, please, please check it out if you haven't. There are English physical copies that you can go and find at your bookstore today or tomorrow or whenever is convenient for you. And now, number five for this series feels so low, but that's just how good the top 4 is. But number 5, probably a surprise to no one that is into BL, is Classmates. Like I mentioned with Therapy Game, Classmates is one where if you're into BL, it is probably one of the first series that you read, or it's definitely one of the ones that you've heard of. But I'm sorry, it's that good. Again, it's popular for a reason. What can I say? So, Classmates, Dokyusei, which is what the first volume is called, is a story about Hikaru and Rihito, who Hikaru's kind of like a bad boy, long blonde hair, is in a rock band, doesn't really care that much about school, where there's Rihito, model student, always dressed nicely, and Hikaru walks in on Rihito solo practicing for their school, what is it, like a concert? I don't remember they're doing some kind of like school performance, and Hikaru hears Rihito rehearsing by himself. He's kind of shy, kind of insecure, and Hikaru, kind of spur of the moment, offers to be Rihito's like music tutor to train him to sing better, so to say. And then as like they get to know each other more, Hikaru falls in love with Rihito and kisses him. And then Again, this is all like the first chapter of the series. And then the relationship just develops from there. Very much an unlikely duo to lovers situation, but it's so good. Like, even though, like, one could argue, at least with just the first volume, Dokusei, and what is the only thing that's been made into an anime adaptation, you could maybe argue the first volume, the pace is a little fast, but I don't mind just because the rest of the series, which if you've only watched the OVA, which, again, the OVA, stunning visuals, stunning voice acting, but it is a crime that we do not have the rest of this series animated, because the rest of the series is somehow so much better. Like, the second part, Sotsugyo-sei, is so good. And then my personal favorite, which is Blanc. I feel like you've had to have seen, like, this volume cover at some point at your bookstore. Blanc is phenomenal. It is heart-wrenching. It is beautiful. Blanc in itself is one of my favorite mangas I've ever read. And then I haven't read all of Home. I really want to purchase Home, add to my collection. Oh, I'm so excited to read Home. But the love between Hikaru and Rihito, even if it develops early on kind of quickly, is so good and so worth it. And again, this is one where I'm pretty sure it's canon that Rihito is a gay man. So again, more actual gay characters in my BL. Love to see it. Love to see it. But it's so good. I wish they would animate the rest of the series. Even if we just get Blanc, if we just get a Blanc movie, I'll never complain about anything ever. That's not true. I complain a lot. But guys, it's so good. And again, this is one where I don't like a lot of angst, and I feel like there's just the right amount. And then all the imagery, true, with their golden ribbon, and then their rings, not to spoil, but their rings. Oh, it's so good. Guys, it's so good. They're so cute. And then, unfortunately, I do need to have the little asterisks of toxic side characters, because there is, unfortunately, a teacher that has a crush on Rihito, and there are, is it 2? There is a side manga just to him, unfortunately, and another high school character. These side volumes, I think, if that is something that makes you understandably really uncomfortable, I think they're very easy to skip. If you only want to focus on the relationship between Hikaru and Rihito, just read the first volume, read the 2 volumes of Sotsugyo-sei. One of the Obi ones, they have some important stuff, but Classmates, Sotsugyo-sei, Blanc, Home, that's really to get Rihito and Hikaru's story. That's what you need. But there are, if you fall in love with the series and you are okay with piloting more kind of unhealthy, questionable dynamic relationships, there is Sora Tohara and O.B. Which are, they have their own pros and cons. Again, if age gap, especially something like a student-teacher relationship, makes you really uncomfortable, please, please, please skip those volumes if you need to. But it has not a lot to do with Rihito and Hikaru's relationship. Rihito and Hikaru are so good. They're some of the best boys. I love them. And it does feel criminal to only put them at number 5, but it's because my top 4 is so good, guys. It's so good. So, what could possibly beat out Classmates, you could ask? Well, not other than number 4, one of the most popular BLs currently, not currently airing, but currently in production. We have 19 Days, which is my pick for my current, well, if we're not including Danmei series, 19 Days is my current favorite Chinese BL. We'll get to Danmei's in a second. But how does one describe 19 Days? I feel like the thing with 19 Days is people hear that it's popular, whatever, if they don't read it on Twitter, which I'm thankful enough that I'm all caught up, so I just read it on Twitter when the author releases new chapters whenever they can. But they look at 19 Days, they see that it has over 400 chapters, and people just go, nope, I'm not committing to that. I don't have time to read a 400 chapter series. But what they don't realize is, especially the first 100 chapters are so short. You're going to fly through the first 100 chapters because some of them are just like a few pages, like some artwork. And then like the real plot doesn't really get into it until like somewhere in the 100s. Like truly, you're gonna fly by the beginning of 19 Days. But what even is 19 Days about? And again, I am so sorry for my American ass. I'm gonna butcher a lot of these names, but we have Jiani and Zhangji. And they are childhood friends that it's basically two childhood friends that go to school together, and Jiani, his father, he knows his father is dead. Spoiler, I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure he knows, but he has his own insecurities, but is one of those insecure boy that battles that with being like super outgoing. And then we have Jeonshi, who's a lot more reserved, but still cares a lot about Johnny. And a lot of the beginning is just kind of their funny antics. You do start to peek into Gianni's feelings for Jeonshi, but it's very slow. That's the thing, is that the author is very slow about developing the romantic side, either because of censorship in China, where a lot of things just kind of have to be left implied. But the beginning of the series is really sweet, just kind of their funny antics. And in my opinion, 19 Days is laugh out loud funny. It is one of the funniest BLs I've read. They're so likable. But once you meet He Xian and Mo Guanshan, aka Little Mo, that is when things really start to take off. And this is one where I think a lot of people, because of TikTok, because of Twitter, think that He Xian and Little Mo are the main characters. They are technically the side pairing. And they are, in all of BL, my favorite side... I was just about to say something, and I realized, based on number one, I don't know if that's true. But they are at least top two of my favorite side pairing of all time. Because I think a lot of people read 19 Days for He Xian and Little Mo's dynamic, because there is... And you would think that this would not be a relationship that I would be into, because I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I hate pairings where it's like, oh, they fight, they bicker all the time, so they're in love. I'm sorry, I don't like really enemies to lovers. I don't like relationships where their dynamic is that they fight, so it must be love. That is one of easily my least favorite dynamics. I know it's really popular. I'm really sorry. Spitfiring unpopular opinions here, but the development of He Xian and Little Mo is so good that, like, you do kind of feel bad that they kind of not overshadow, but kind of they almost in a way take over 19 Days, because there are periods where so much of the drama that's happening is around them. And again, back to reheating my nachos, Haitian is so just the perfect amount of obsessed and dedicated and a little shit. Oh, and Little Mo is just the perfect amount of, I hate to use the word tsundere, but you know, secretly really kind-hearted, has a lot of drama, sad backstory that makes him kind of the bad boy that he is. And the way these two positively influence each other, they're so good. Don't get me wrong, I love Jian. I love Zhang Zhenxi. They're so good. I do genuinely feel bad when people only read 19 Days for Haitian and Little Mo, because their dynamic is so good too. But unfortunately, I'm one of those annoying people where I love Little Mo and Haitian. Especially, I love Haitian, but Little Mo is easily my favorite character. Oh, he's so perfect. And their development, I think that's what it is too, is that Jian and Zhang Zhenxi, while not perfect, aren't as immediately flawed as Haitian and Little Mo are. And so I feel like we see a lot more development. And I know it's 400 chapters, but guys, it's so worth it. I promise. I'm not even getting into like spoiler territories, because believe it or not, even though it is, I would say, mostly a comedy, just a kind of daily life comedy, there is actual plot sprinkled in there. And it hurts. There's genuinely heart, soul crushing moments. And the art, it's so funny too. Like when you start, you probably like starting here and then looking at the beginning art, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so different. But when you read it from the beginning, it is such a gradual and like natural like art development. Because this series has been going on for what, 10 years now? 24. It started in 2014. Oh my gosh. So yeah, of course the artist is gonna have a major like art development if they've been developing the series for over 10 years now. But it's so good. Again, I haven't even really talked about anything about the plot besides the fact that it's about 4 high school boys that hang out and comedy ensues. But it's so good. Please, this is me on my knees begging, please don't look at the 400 plus chapters and go, not worth it. Don't have the commitment. No, please. I'm begging you. It's really not as long as it looks. You'll fly through it in just a few days. It's not like a One Piece, like skip beat situation. Like, you'll get through it fast. It's so good. Please read 19 Days. Please. And so now, with how much I gushed over loving 19 Days, what could possibly be number 3? Well, obviously, Cherry Magic. Of course, no BL list, in my opinion, is complete without Cherry Magic. And even again, having Cherry Magic at only 3 feels criminal, because I adore Cherry Magic. Now, I will go on record to say that I have watched the drama, but and of course the anime, I've watched it twice. I watched it subbed and dubbed. But I started with the manga. I am a manga truther. I know the drama is so popular and it's done so well. The actors do an amazing job. But I am here today to tell you that if you are a drama-only person, please read the manga. Please, even if you're an anime-only person, please read the manga. The manga is so good. The manga is the best way to enjoy Cherry Magic. It's so good. So in case you have been living under a rock, what is Cherry Magic, or the full title, Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard? So Cherry Magic follows Adachi, who on his 30th birthday develops the ability to read people's mind when he touches them. So it's not like he walks into a room and is flooded with a lot of thoughts. He has to, like, even through clothes, like if he just like bumps shoulder with someone and they're both wearing clothes, he can read their thoughts, which normally isn't too bad. But when you live in Tokyo and you have to, you know, ride the really busy subways, or you work in an office where you occasionally like bump into people, or you ride a crowded elevator every day, you are going to hear thoughts. And so of course he's like, oh my gosh, because this is, in this universe, it's this saying that if you're a virgin when you're 30, you gain the ability to read minds. And so he's like, oh my gosh, the superstition's true. Oh no. And one day he gets on the elevator with his coworker Kurosawa, who is like the quintessential perfect employee, perfect man, amazing looks, great personality. And he is excited to kind of a little deviously read Kurosawa's mind and like finally find the flaws in Kurosawa. And then through the shenanigans of a crowded elevator, Adachi learns that the most popular man at his office has a crush on him. Adachi, the 30-year-old virgin. What else is he? Oh, anxiety, super kind of closed off. And he's like, what? And then that, I think it's the same day, or it's the same week, Kurosawa volunteers to help stay late with Adachi to do work. And Adachi misses the last subway, and so Kurosawa volunteers or offers his place to Adachi because he doesn't live too far. And this is kind of the fallout of them starting to hang out more, from Adachi learning that Kurosawa secretly has not a little, a major crush on him, and the antics that ensue. And again, as we've stated, I love me an obsessed and devoted top. And Kurosawa is arguably one of the greenest flags in all of BL, nay, I say romance, because he is the perfect amount of husband material / boy failure, which is what makes Cherry Magic, I feel like, so charming, is how much of a boy failure Kurosawa actually is. And how cute Adachi is. Oh my gosh, guys, I love Adachi. The development is so good. Sometimes I read, because I've reread Cherry Magic a couple times, and every time I start volume 1, I kind of get taken aback. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot what Adachi was like at the beginning of Cherry Magic. Because the development is just that good. Again, freak for freak behavior. I'm telling you, they matched each other's freak. It's so good. And I know, again, the drama is so good and the actors do a great job, but there are some things that they change in the drama that, as a manga truther, as someone that read the manga first, I don't like. And so to me, and the same with the anime doesn't, I feel like, make as drastic of changes, but the manga just does it better. It has the best pacing. I get sad because some people, I feel like they don't like the art style at first, especially with how hot the drama actors are, but the art is so good. No, please. Adachi gets so cute. Through the power of love, through the power of confidence of being loved, Adachi gets so beautiful, just slowly and naturally through time. And Kurosawa is such a disaster. I love him. So again, if you are looking for a series with adults, with people in their 30s that have jobs, and I don't know, you want to laugh, you want to see realistic and just heartwarming, natural relationship develop with some supernatural elements thrown in, some occasional misunderstandings. Cherry Magic is so good. And again, I'm trying not to spoil But they're currently, at least in Japan, there's 15 volumes. I don't think volume 14 is out in English print yet. But you would think, with a premise like someone that can read minds because he's a 30-year-old virgin, what can you do in 15 volumes? And all 15 volumes are excellent. It's so good. So please, 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 even if you're an anime watcher, even if you're a drama watcher, I still think the manga is worth checking out. The side pairing, they're cute. I like them more now, post volume 13, but they're not my fave. Again, I'm just such an Adachi and Kurosawa stan that I read it for them. Whenever they're not in my chapter, I get sad. They're just that lovable. Cherry Magic is so good. I think it's gonna be a top 3 BL, just honestly a top 5 overall manga for me for a very, very long time. It's going to take something really special to knock Cherry Magic out of my top 3. But what could possibly keep Cherry Magic from number 1? Well, again, if this was manga only, Cherry Magic would be number 2. But I have the power of Pride Month on my side. And I know my truth. I know what I love. I know what I'm obsessed with. And I feel like it would be incredibly criminal of me not to mention this series. But my number 2 favorite BL of all time is Heaven Official's Blessing. And the fact that it's one of my favorite series of all time, and I have to constantly stop myself from saying Heaven's Official Blessing because it's Heaven Official's Blessing. Ugh, dyslexia at its finest. But unless you've been living under a rock, Heaven Official's Blessing is one of, I would say, the most popular danmes currently out right now, and it is currently my favorite danme of all time. I haven't read a lot, so I am not an expert on danmes, but I really do feel like I just started with the best. And I also struggle because how does one explain the basic plot of Heaven Official's Blessing, also known as TGCF because of the Chinese name? Basically, our main character, Shailian, who is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction, is an 800-year-old former god that ascends again for the 3rd time. So he was a god, was banished twice for spoiler reasons, and now he has ascended again, and it basically follows his adventures as a newly ascended god after being a scrap collector for about 800 years. And that is the most basic description that I can give you. I didn't even mention Hua-chan, also known as, who is our other main character. And I really don't want to talk too much about Hua-chan because heaven forbid you have not read TGCF yet. I really just want you to go in as blind as possible. I read the first novel. I'm a novel reader first, and then I watched the donghua, and then I read the comic. And I think going in knowing as little as possible is the best. However, I will say, especially if Heaven Official's Blessing is your first danme, you're going to be very confused for the first 100 or something pages because there's just so much about cultivation. But I promise, as soon as you kind of get through the beginning, when Shailian's up in heaven again, and then you start to get into the first arc of the series, it gets so good. And Heaven Official's Blessing is, at least for the US English release, it is an 8-volume danme, and which I think is already by danme standards considered a longer Dames. I feel like from what I see, Dames are typically, at least again in terms of US releases, the Korean TGCF, I feel like there's so many volumes. I feel like it's more than 8. I'll have to double check. But I feel like they're typically around 4 or 5 volumes. But it's so good. There's so many arcs. And it really goes into Shaelian's past. And then through meeting Hwa-chan, how he develops as a person. And they're just the cutest. Again, freak for freak. I'm gonna repeat this. I guess that's just a dynamic I love. I love a kind of obsessed, freaky top and a bottom that's low-key, high-key into it. I guess that's overall my dynamic that I'm into, but Hwa-chan's the perfect amount of like a simp, but also like stern enough. Because all he cares about is keeping Shaelian safe and happy, and Shaelian is ready to sacrifice himself or get himself hurt at any given moment. Like, Shaelian would not have fallen in love with some yes man that would bend to his every whim. Like, Hwa-chan, while devoted to Shaelian, still is able to tell him no, which I feel like sometimes people, when they read, they miss that. Like, Hwa-chan tells him no and tells him not to do things plenty of times for Shaelian's better good. But it's so good. It's one of the most popular danmes for a reason, and I feel like partly is why it's hard for me to really get into others. I am reading The Husky and His White Cat. That's one of my current favorite danmes also, but I'm only 4 volumes in, so I didn't feel comfortable adding Husky and His White Shizun to my list. I'm also reading what is notoriously known as the Fish BL danme, and then I own Little Mushroom. I need to finish Little Mushroom, but danmes are so good. I really wish I had more time to just be, a romance danme book girly, but unfortunately, I'm also a gamer. Unfortunately, I'm also a weeb, so I really have to divide my hobbies to the best of my ability. But if you have not picked up a danme, if it's been something that you've been considering and haven't really dipped your toes in, I personally think, in my opinion, I think Heaven Official's Blessing is a great first danme to start with. It was mine. I still adore it, but at the end of the day, read the back of the synopsis, know what your favorite tropes, your favorite genres are, and pick the dames that are best for you. I would say that way, because I remember when The Untamed was super popular. Everyone was telling me to watch it. Everyone was telling me to read it. But I knew deep down, I was like, I don't know if that's really the series for me. And I feel like Heaven Official Blessing is, again, I keep saying this, but just the perfect amount of funny, cute, dramatic, gut-wrenching. This might be one of the saddest series that I have on this list. There are some hard moments to get through in this series, but it's so worth it, especially the end, everything just wrapping together, and high-key, low-key, the fan fiction. Oh my god, read it just so you can read the fan fiction. Honestly, god tier. But yes, Heaven Official's Blessing is truly one of the best pieces of fiction to me I have read in the last 5 years. It's so good, and I'm really trying to be as basic with this review. You're probably like, I don't know, this seems kind of boring, but that's because I don't want to get in to the details, because I feel like it's so easy to just open TikTok and see a bajillion spoilers, and I'm really just trying to give you guys the least amount of information possible so you can go in and truly experience it to the peak. Now again, I'm going to get, I think, a lot of flack for this, but again, this is another series where I really am into it for Shaelian and Hwa-chan. I am not the biggest fan of the side characters. I love them, don't get me wrong, but MXTX, the author, is commonly known for, besides her first work, not having side pairings. But there are so many side pairings in Heaven Official's Blessing that people adore that I personally am not, it's not for me. I understand Beef Leaf, but that's not for me. And then what's the other ship called? But the Xianlei trio, where it's his two best friends. It's not for me. I'm so sorry. Again, I don't like dynamics where the whole dynamic is they're constantly fighting and seem like they hate each other. And so clearly it must be romance. Clearly it's unresolved, like, sexual romantic tension. I'm like, it's not for me. I'm sorry. I have a lot of friends where, like, enemies to lovers is, like, their trope. And they have a lot of good reasons for why they love enemies to lovers so much. For me, personally, especially when it gets to kind of more, like, physical fighting, it's not for me. I really prefer, like, the Shelian, Hua-chan, Adachi, Kurosawa kind of dynamic where it's one person that maybe their confidence is at their lowest, and then the love and encouragement from this other person that loves them, not despite of their lows or insecurities, but also because of the things they don't like about themselves, that they learn to accept themselves and become a better person. That's my favorite. I love just a good, you know, a little obsessive, but still overall green flag top. Perfect. And Hua-chan, to me, I feel like Hua-chan discourse on my Twitter, but to me, Hua-chan is such a perfect character. And he's a Gemini king. Happy Pride Month king. We love Hua-chan in this house. We love Shelia and Hua-chan. They were basically made for each other. I will die on this hill. Please, 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 please read Heaven Official's Blessing. Or if an 8-volume novel series seems a little hard at first, honestly, in my opinion, I know it's even more censored than the Chinese novels. I really think the Donghua is really good. I know some people have not the best thoughts about it. I think it's a really good adaptation. And the dub is really good too. If you're someone that feels a little hurt about the Chinese censorship that has to go on, not even just with the novels, but with Donghua's, the dub, I feel like, does their best to still, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Chinese voice actors are phenomenal too. The staff that work on it, phenomenal. But you can tell that the English dub, they have a little more leeway to be a little more, what's the word? Kind of obvious with some of the line delivery that they give. But, so in my opinion, if you're not a big reader, or if you're not sure if you really want to commit to reading 8 volumes of a novel that might involve you spending a lot of money, try the Donghua first. If you fall in love with the Donghua, then please, please, please give the novels a chance. The English translation, I think, is really good. I can't comment. I never read the online version. I know there's some people that feel certain ways about official translations and, like, some meanings getting lost. I personally think that the official translation is really good. So please, 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 if you haven't started getting into Danmei yet, please give Heaven Official's Blessing a chance. Or, again, like I said, just look at some of the popular ones, read the synopsis on the back, and try and see if there's one that you think might suit your taste the best. There are so many amazing stories in Danmei, and I'm so glad that we're just getting more and more official translations, physical releases. Makes my heart so happy. But finally, we are here. Remember when I thought that this was going to be like a 10-minute video? Oh my god. And it's only gonna get longer because now it is time to talk about number one, which if you have been part of this channel, or maybe you looked at my icon before clicking on the video, you probably had an idea of what my number one was going to be. If you have watched any of my videos from long ago, you probably already knew what was going to be number one. But I'm also cheating because I'm making it a two-parter here. But my ultimate, not just favorite manga, not just favorite BL, not just favorite anime, but honestly, currently right now, my favorite series, movie, TV, book, etc. of all time is Sasaki and Miyano, with the addition of the spin-off series, Hirano and Kaguya. I know I'm cheating. I know there's people that are going to be upset that I'm combining Sasaki and Miyano with Hirano and Kaguya. But listen, it's my list. It's my list. I can do what I want. Also, I really don't know that many people that only read one. For example, like you read Sasaki and Miyano and then you're like, I don't need to read Hirano or Kaguya. Or I know there are people that only read Hirano and Kaguya, but it's like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you read both? Like, how? I can't imagine. How can you not? So to me, they're always going to be connected. They're always going to be one and the same. So yes, I'm cheating. When I say Sasaki and Miyano is my favorite series of all time, that includes Hirano and Kaguya. I'm not bumping them down to 2. I physically can't bring myself to do that. But in case you're like, oh, but meh. Fine, if I have to, then I would put Hirano and Kaguya at number 2 because we are getting volume 6 sometime soon. And plus there's novels and stuff, so I would consider it a long-running series. And then I would have to, just since I'm not confident that it counts as a long-running series, I would just kick out Surge Looking Towards You. And then I guess this would be my list. But I'm cheating, and I'm combining Sasaki and Miyano and Hirano and Kaguya. So live with it. Be who you are for your pride. But anyway, let's get into it. Sasaki and Miyano. So I'm trying not to gush too much. This video is already long. I could easily talk another hour just about Sasaki and Miyano, which is why I want to make a separate video in the future. But you know when you finally stumble upon something, whether it be a game, a movie, a show, and you go, I feel like this was made for me specifically. That is Sasaki and Miyano to me. Because I know before, like, there might even be some people watching where they're like, but Sasaki and Miyano isn't as suspenseful or gut-wrenching as Heaven Official's Blessing, or it isn't as spicy as something like Therapy Game. Why would you like Sasaki and Miyano more than all of these other series? Because at the end of the day, I am a slice of life girly. I am a fluff girly. I know I could go on a whole tangent about how I feel like we overanalyze certain BLs that have questionable or toxic traits, but at the end of the day, I am a fluff girly, and I feel like you truly can't get fluffier and heartwarming like Sasaki and Miyano. Watching and reading Sasaki and Miyano truly feels like, to me, getting a hug on a bad day, or getting that hug after you've just cried your eyes out. Like, it feels like seeping into someone's arms and truly just feeling comfortable, which I feel like some people might be like, I don't know, I just thought it was a cute anime. That's fine. I know for a lot of people, they watched the anime and they were like, this is so cute. But, it's so much more than that to me, because not only are Sasaki and Miyano just 2 of, in my opinion, the best just characters ever, just like total contradictions to how they look on paper. We have Miyano that looks like one of the cutest characters of all time, because he is the cutest character of all time. But he's not just kind, he's not just cute, he's hardworking, he's dedicated. Once he puts his mind to something, he commits 100%. He's incredibly loyal to his friends. He doesn't like sweet things. He doesn't really like feminine or overly cutely things. And yes, he's a fudanshi. Yes, he loves BL. Yes, he loves romance. Yes, he's super dedicated to his hobbies. But he is, in my opinion, and definitely I think to the author's opinion too, one of the manliest characters in the series. And then you have Sasaki, that tall, broad, piercings, bad boy energy to all his classmates, definitely comes off as aloof, distant, but inside he has all of these insecurities, and he thinks really low of himself, and he doesn't have any passion for life. And then he meets Miyano and completely changes his point of view, and it's so good. Again, I'm trying not to get too deep into things because I really want you guys to read it. I think there's a lot of people that watch the anime and they go, that was really cute. And then they don't read the manga, and I'm like, please. I say this as someone that has easily watched the anime 15 times, including the movie, including the OVA. It is easily my favorite anime of all time. But please, please read the manga. It's so good. Like, sometimes I think about anime onlys and how they must be really confused how there's so much Kaguya merch because he's barely in the anime. And I'm like, if you read the manga with all of the extra chapters, you would know how important Kaguya is. And that's the thing too, that's one of my favorite things about Sasaki and Miyano, is even though Sasaki and Miyano are my two favorite characters of all time, somehow Sensei has made an incredible cast of likable characters. There's no other series, there's no other BL where I like the supporting cast to the degree that I do. I think I've mentioned a couple times certain series where it's shocking that I like the side pairing, or there's series where I really like the main pairing but the side ship is, it's okay. Hirano and Kagiura, it feels, again, wrong calling them a side pairing when they are, in a way, just as important as Sasaki and Miyano. They have their own series, and that series in of itself is perfection. It's so good. I feel like if you think Sasaki and Miyano is almost too sweet for you, I feel like you would then really like Hirano and Kagiura, because it's not angsty, but there's still a little bit more uncertainty. Again, I don't want to get too into it because I would like to make my own video just about Sasaki and Miyano and Hirano and Kagiura, but they're so good. And then all of Sasaki's friends, all of Miyano's friends, the characters that show up, maybe they have 2 chapters where they show up, but they're just that instantly likable. It's so good. I adore all of these characters, which truly is kind of rare for me, not just for BL series, but book series, TV series, other animes. It's hard for me to like every single character, but Sasaki Miyano has such a good supporting cast of characters. And I feel like a lot of people, like I keep mentioning, they're like, oh yeah, Sasaki and Miyano's cute, but there's not really a lot of conflict. There's not really a lot of, like, angst, so to say, but not everything needs to have the most dramatic twists or turns. That's what makes Sasaki and Miyano so good, is I feel like any kind of minor conflicts get resolved in such a healthy way, and they don't get overblown. It's so good. And especially, again, anime onlys, please, please, please read the manga, because I feel like there's so many times in series where the good part of the romance is like the will they, won't they, and then seeing them get together. And then when they are together, it's kind of like, it's okay. I'm not gonna name any romance animes here, but there are a couple that I can think of where it's like, oh, it was a little better when there was the push and pull, but as a couple, they're alright. Sasaki and Miyano, again, spoiler, I'm assuming that you're an anime only, somehow gets better after they're together. And it's seeing that, like, also that beautiful change in Sasaki, like the yearner Sasaki, he's still a big yearner, even right now after volume 10. He's still just head to toe full of yearning, obsessed with his boyfriend. But seeing how soft they are with each other, it's so good. And it feels like such a reward because Sasaki waited so long and now Miyano's obsessed with him, and it's like, it's what he deserves. I love them so much. I realize I've been talking for 10 minutes. I didn't even talk about the plot. I'm sorry, they're my favorites. Okay. So what is Sasaki and Miyano 20 minutes later? So Sasaki and Miyano follows Miyano Yoshikazu as he sees a fight happening behind school, and just as he's about to step in, despite his short, skinny stature, to try and stop this fight, a hand grabs his shoulder and stops him and takes his place, and it's this tall, dyed hair senpai that ends up being Sasaki Shumei. And through a kind of series, the volume 1 is kind of non-linear. They kind of jump from the summer when Sasaki and Miyano meet to kind of the rest of Miyano's first year in high school, but it kind of follows them getting to know each other after this chance meeting. And through getting closer, Sasaki learns that Miyano is a fudanshi, which means he loves reading BL, and he asks Miyano to recommend him a manga, and so Miyano just hands him the manga that he had with him, and Sasaki ends up liking it. And through sharing manga with Sasaki, they're able to get closer. Miyano feels like he finally has someone to share his passion with. And as Miyano gets closer with Sasaki, Sasaki falls more and more in love with Miyano. And it really is just a basic plot of two high school boys falling in love as they get to know each other. But it's so good. The art style is probably my favorite art style in all of manga. It's so gorgeous, and the color pages that Sensei does is so good. And then we have Hirano and Kagiura, which follows the side pairing from Sasaki and Miyano, and Hirano and Kagiura are roommates. And it's not a spoiler, it's basically volume 1. Actually, it's the prequel novel, but Kagiura realizes that he's in love with his roommate Hirano, and just, and they were roommates. Basically, it's, again, I'm trying not to spoil, especially if you're an anime only and you haven't read Kagiura and Hirano, you probably don't know really anything about their relationship, unless you've watched the movie. But yes, Kagiura, he knows he's in love with his roommate, and Hirano, being just the perfect mother figure that he is just the right amount of doting and caring while also being completely oblivious. It's so good. And where we are right now in the current chapters that are in the Japanese magazine releases, it's so good. So I really feel like, especially once you read the manga and you read the extra chapters with Hirano and Kagiura, I can't imagine not wanting to then immediately go and pick up Hirano and Kagiura and read their side of the series, because it's the same timeline, but it just shows what Hirano and Kagiura were doing while Sasaki and Miyano were doing other things, and every now and again things overlap and you're like, whoa! It's so good. So again, I'll probably make another video just going into depth on why, to me, Sasaki and Miyano is the perfect best series of all time. But just to summarize, for the sake of this video, it is the perfect amount of fluff and care and kindness and yearning. The yearning that you would want in a romance series, and just with the extra sprinkle of Miyano being a Fudanshi, so you get the occasional references to BL, to being a BL fan, which obviously Sasaki and Miyano is not the only series that has a Fudanshi main character, but it's just extra fun because I feel like they're aware that if you're reading Sasaki and Miyano, more likely than not you are a Fudanshi, a Fujoshi, a BL fan, and so you can relate to Miyano in ways when he's talking about buying maybe multiple copies of a volume to get pre-order bonuses, which is something that I hadn't done when I read Sasaki and Miyano for the first time in 2022. But now, being a big fan, I have bought multiple copies of a volume of Sasaki and Miyano or Hirano and Kagira to get the different bonuses from the different stores. I'm like, oh my gosh, Miyano's right. Or when he talks about audio dramas or fan works. It's just so fun. I remember showing one of my best friends a year or two ago, sitting down and making her watch Sasaki and Miyano with me. And within the first 5 minutes of the first episode, she turns to me and she just goes, Mads, you like this series because you are Miyano. And I was like, I don't need to be analyzed like this right now. But again, like I said, it just feels so good when you find a series that ticks all your boxes and you really just go, I feel like this was made for me. I was made to find this series. That is Sasaki and Miyano to me. And again, if you're someone that's an anime only, as much as I adore the anime, it's my favorite anime, please, 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 if you ever get the chance, give the manga a shot. It's somehow better. I know that's crazy. And if you haven't watched Sasaki and Miyano or read Sasaki and Miyano, please, 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 I beg you, give it a shot. Even if fluff, minimal, basically zero angst is not your thing, I still think there is something that anyone can get from Sasaki and Miyano. Either it's the characters and them questioning their sexuality or the insecurities that they go through in life. It's just so good. It's my favorite. But yeah, I guess that was my top 10 long-running BL series. And we're somehow, oh my gosh, 90 minutes? Remember when I thought this was going to be a 15-minute video? Who do I think I am? I can ramble for ages. And I'm sorry, I know that's basically what this was a lot of rambling. I didn't deep dive too deep into things. But again, I was trying to keep things spoiler free in case you hadn't seen any of these series before, just because I think all of them deserve to be read without being completely spoiled. Again, if you like being spoiled before you jump into things, I understand. I understand the appeal, but they're all just so good. And yeah, again, happy Pride Month. This is my first time really trying to do one of these kinds of videos. I know I still have a lot to learn, but I'm hoping that I can do more in the future. I'd really love to do like my top 10 for short BL series. I'd really love to do my top 10 one volume BL series, and then I'd also really love to do like a top 10 anime or top 10 danmes whenever I get to reading 10 danmes. But yeah, let me know, are any of these your fave? What are your favorite BLs during Pride Month? And maybe if I get the chance, I know I have a couple scouting videos I need to make this month, but if I find the time, I would love to make another BL-centric video for Pride Month, just to, you know, get more practice, get more exposure into making different content for you all, because believe it or not, I do like more than just gacha games. Who would have thought? But again, if you watched all the way through, if you put up with my mad, crazy rambling, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you have an awesome Pride Month, regardless if you are an LGBTQ. Thank you for joining. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you all next time. Bye!